Imagine this. A 25-foot wave of sticky, brown liquid rushing at 35 miles an hour. It smashes through city streets, shatters buildings, flips cars, and swallows people whole. Sounds like a bizarre sci-fi movie, right? But it was real. Boston, 1919. A day that went down in history as the Great Molasses Flood. It was January 15th, a surprisingly mild winter afternoon in Boston's North End. Suddenly, a massive steel tank, 5 stories high and holding over 2 million gallons of raw molasses, burst wide open. In seconds, a deadly wave taller than a house roared through the commercial streets. Witnesses described a deep, rumbling sound, like a train, followed by the terrifying noise of machine gun-like pops as the tank's rivets shot out. Horses, wagons, and even heavy freight cars were tossed aside like toys. The ground shook so violently that people blocks away thought it was an earthquake, and the air, thick and heavy, reeked of a sickening sweetness. But that sweetness turned deadly in an instant. 21 people lost their lives, and over 150 were injured. Some were crushed by the immense force of the wave or by the debris it carried. Others became trapped in the thick, suffocating syrup, unable to breathe. Rescuers who rushed to the scene said it was like wading through quicksand made of glue. The thick, viscous goop clogged their boots, making every step a monumental effort. They heard faint cries for help coming from the brown sludge, but struggled to reach the victims in time. So why was molasses, of all things, so dangerous? It might not sound threatening, but here's the science behind the horror. Molasses is a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning its viscosity changes under stress. It's incredibly dense and heavy, about 40% denser than water. When stored in such a huge quantity under pressure, it builds up an enormous amount of potential energy. As the poorly constructed tank finally cracked open, the 2 million gallons of molasses were released with explosive force. The cold January air then caused the warm liquid to cool rapidly, making it even thicker and stickier, turning the streets into a lethal, inescapable trap. People simply couldn't run fast enough. Horses couldn't pull free. Even entire buildings were lifted off their foundations and swept away by the sticky tide. In the aftermath, Boston smelled of molasses for months, some say for years. On warm days, the sickly sweet scent would rise from the cobblestones. Cleaning crews used fire hoses to spray salt water from the harbor onto the streets, trying to wash the goo away. But it was a slow, painstaking process. They scraped it off rooftops, out of basements, and from the harbor floor. Lawsuits followed as grieving families demanded justice. Investigators eventually discovered the tank had been shoddily built, rushed into service to meet wartime demand for industrial alcohol, and had never been properly tested. It leaked from day one, painted brown to hide the stains. The company ultimately paid out a settlement equivalent to millions in today's money. From this bizarre tragedy came a silver lining: stricter building safety codes and engineering standards that are still in effect today. So the next time you drizzle a little molasses on your pancakes, remember, in 1919, it wasn't sweet at all. It was the centerpiece of one of history's strangest, stickiest, and deadliest disasters. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more weird history.